Hey there! Welcome to another brand new episode of Talking Cinema. Back to the old format. Just me here sitting in this chair in my room, getting ready to chat about some movie news. I don't mind the other format. It's nice to do every now and then to change things up, but I do admit I do enjoy doing things like this. And honestly, there's a good amount of things I want to get off my chest that are movie related. Specifically, some movie trailers that I saw and I was not impressed with that were extremely disappointing or just plain shit. And also, I want to do a little bit of a look at some movie news, so to speak. So, anyway, let's get started, shall we? I'm checking out Screen Rant. And here we have some news that has definitely freaked out some people, and I can see why. There's rumors out there that Spider-Man could be exiting the Marvel Cinematic Universe after the Homecoming sequel. First off, I don't necessarily buy it because from what I've heard, it's from Amy Pascal, who was only a producer or an executive producer of Homecoming. She was no longer the head of Sony or has any sort of sway or power in that arena. Sony can't really afford any more marks on their what's left of their goodwill, so to speak. So I highly doubt that they're really planning on doing that, but we shall see. I mean, it's Sony. I mean, I would not be surprised. I wouldn't be. Not at all. Not one bit. The Justice League movie has a estimated running time of 2 hours and 50 minutes. Yeah. That long, folks. 2 hours and 50 minutes. Holy fuck. Is that movie going to have an intermission? Are they going to give people an intermission like they did for the movie Hateful Eight? Or are people just going to have to sit there for 2 hours and 50 minutes and watch Zack Snyder's latest masterpiece? And I use that term ironically because Zack Snyder hasn't made a masterpiece, in my opinion, since Watchmen. Everything else he's done since then has been a disaster piece, if anything. He's the master of disaster. So, I don't know. I mean, if it's that long, that's not a good sign to me at all. And I'll talk more about Justice League later in depth when I talk about the trailer. Channing Tatum is apparently producing a zombie movie from the director of Kung Fury called Zombie Brother. Now, it's from the director of Kung Fury. So I am definitely curious about the film because it's from the director of Kung Fury. Kung Fury was awesome. It was one of the best things I've seen in a long time, the past few years. So I'm definitely going to be curious to see what this Zombie Brother movie will be from Kung Fury director David Sandberg. A film that I'm not curious at all about, though, is Annabelle 2, which is called Annabelle Creation. I don't give a shit about Annabelle 2. I didn't care about Annabelle. The only thing I remember from that movie is a scene that I thought was pretty funny where I remember the doll looked like it speared some priest guy, and I just thought it was funny because I just imagined it was like some WWE match and a doll spears somebody and then JR's in the background going, "Oh my god! Oh my god! Annabelle speared him in half." So that's the only reason why I at all really remember Annabelle. For the most part, I remember the movie being pretty shitty. I don't need a sequel. I don't want a sequel. Yeah, Justice League is longer than Batman vs Superman. Yeah, because Batman vs Superman was just the right amount of time, just the right amount of soul sucking time. We need more of that time to suck your soul straight out of your ass and make you feel ashamed that you're watching a Justice League film on the big screen. Now, that's just my personal thoughts, okay? I'm not. If you're excited for the film, cool. I have no problem with that. I think that's awesome. I'm not. I'm done with DC. I'm done with Dicks and Cox. I guess people are photoshopping Mr. Bean into a bunch of movies now. It's a new meme. I don't like Mr. Bean. I never have liked Mr. Bean. I always thought he was weird. I didn't like his sense of humor. I didn't like his jokes. I don't like Mr. Bean. So I'm not into this whole trend of photoshopping Mr. Bean and all into everything. In fact, I think it makes it worse. It doesn't make it better. It makes all these scenes and all these iconic movie posters and characters complete joke because Mr. Bean is in them. The same guy, Rowan Atkinson, who was in those awful Johnny English movies. Now, Deadpool 2, I've heard about that. That Brad Pitt was one of the actors who was rumored to maybe be in the running to play Cable, but now that's not the case. Uh, I've also heard rumors that Michael Shannon was on the fast track for Cable. Honestly, I'll take Brad Pitt over Michael Shannon. Michael Shannon, I do not want to see as Cable. He does not have the acting talent to pull that type of character off. I'm not saying Michael Shannon is a terrible actor. He just does not have the type of acting talent that is needed specifically for this type of role. I don't buy him as a cold, stoic, stone-faced, serious foil to Deadpool. I don't buy him. I don't think he has the deadpan that a character like Cable needs in order to bounce off of Deadpool well. I have not seen that from him. Maybe he'll prove me wrong if he gets the role, and if he does, awesome. I hope he does. But I just don't see General Zod as Cable. I don't know why they're not giving Ron Perlman a shot. Hell, I would even take Stephen Lang at this point. My preferred choice is Dolph Lundgren because they name dropped him after the end credits in Deadpool, and I think he has the look. He's definitely a physical presence, and he's a much better actor than people give him credit for. So he's gotten a lot better at acting lately, and I really think he would be perfect for the role of Cable. I just hope they at least give him a screen test. It seems to me like they're not even considering Dolph, which is really too bad. It just shows you how much Dolph Lundgren has been screwed up the ass by Hollywood. This man never seems to get a chance to really redeem himself for films like Masters of the Universe. Like that, and he did later with Universal Soldier, and it was a huge hit, but it led to nothing. He didn't get a single film that was released in theaters until The Expendables. I mean, Dolph Lundgren is a much more capable action lead than somebody like William Baldwin or other people that they've tried to make action leads, like Taylor Kitsch or Taylor Lautner. Jeez, I just realized that Taylor Kitsch and Taylor Lautner don't ever try to make an action hero out of Taylors. It doesn't work. That's their 0 for 2. So yeah, give Dolph a chance. At least give him a fucking screen test. Maybe he'll surprise you. If you don't think he's right for the role, that's fine. But at least give him a chance. That's all I'm asking for. Fate of the Furious, I honestly want to see that. It looks like a step up from the last Fast and the Furious movie. It looks like wild and crazy fun. There's a different director behind the helm, which is a good thing because the previous director had way too much quick cut and shaky cam and flippy camera moves, and doesn't seem like he knew at all how to shoot fight scenes. This seems like it's the opposite, and it also looks like they're actually actively trying to shoot more scenes with practical effects and actual real stunts, which I really appreciate, which I think the franchise is really missing after the last film. So, yeah, definitely looking forward to that. The Mummy with Tom Cruise, I don't give a shit. It looks generic. It looks bland. If I want to watch a Mummy movie, I'll stick with Brendan Fraser's The Mummy. Thank you very much. Deadpool 2, Monica Baccarin is going to be in it. She's teasing some evolution. Maybe she might become copycat. Spider-Man Homecoming trailer came out. I liked what I saw from Tom Holland. Okay. What I didn't like is even more Tony Stark and Iron Man. And there was a poster that I saw that just showed Iron Man and Spider-Man off to the side. It was just an awful Photoshop job. And part of me's thinking it was just a joke poster. But I don't know for sure. And if it isn't, that's just pathetic and embarrassing to have a full giant photo of Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr. in his new Iron Man suit, and Spider-Man off to the side. I mean, if that really is the case, that's an awful poster. It's just not. I like the other trailers more because they didn't give away as much, and also this just kind of I don't like the idea of Tony being involved this much in the film. That worries me. I do not want this to be Iron Man 4 featuring Spider-Man. I was worried about that when I saw Iron Man in the previous trailer, and seeing more of Iron Man and Tony Stark in the most recent trailer. That does make me, pause for a second. It makes me a bit leery of things. Um, I admit, though, Michael Keaton looks like he's going to rock. He's going to kick ass as the Vulture. And I'm not really a fan of the whole, oh, you got to earn your suit part of the story. And seeing Spider-Man in what looks like pajama pants. And I know looks like it's kind of a nod to Scarlet Spider, but I don't know. I'm not a fan of the look. So, I don't know. We shall see. I'll probably definitely see it because it's Spider-Man, and I'm a huge fan of Spider-Man, and I want to support Tom Holland. So, because I'm definitely curious about it because of him, because I loved him in Civil War, and I like what I see here in these trailers. I'm just kind of worried about some of the aspects of the plot and things like that. But overall, I thought the trailer was all right. Downsizing is a film that Matt Damon is going to be in. He's gonna shrink down. It's a sci-fi satire film. I'm actually curious about it because I think it'd be really cool to see an Incredible Shrinking Man type film with today's effects. So I'm definitely curious about that one, and I like Matt Damon, so I'm waiting to see a trailer on that. Pirates of the Caribbean 5, I don't know. I mean, I like the darker tone that they're going for in these trailers, but I have a feeling that it's just going to be in the trailers, and the film itself is going to be definitely more lighthearted. I mean, it's Pirates of the Caribbean 5. It's gonna be a lot more lighthearted than the trailers are making it out to be. But it's Pirates 5, so it's hard for me to really be that excited for Pirates 5. But all right, I don't know. My excitement level for that is pretty low. But my parents are pretty big fans of the franchise, so I still might go see it anyway, because I might go see it with them. War of the Planet of the Apes teaser. I guess there's a second one coming out. I don't really care for the first trailers. I'm not into this new Planet of the Apes franchise. I'm not even really the biggest Planet of the Apes fan to begin with. I have the box set of the original movies, and I have the remake, which I did see in the theater years ago, and I haven't seen again. I remember it being disappointing even back then. I remember being like, where's the action? I love the practical effects by Rick Baker, but I remember it just being lame because the action sequences sucked and Mark Wahlberg was a shitty lead. And then I remember the ending just infuriating me even at a young age. I was like, what is this? I don't know. And I wasn't a fan of Rise of the Planet of the Apes when I saw it, so I haven't seen Dawn, and I'm not really, Apes, I'm probably not going to be seeing that movie. Someday down the road, I do want to review the other Apes films, though, so maybe down when I decide to do that, then I'll get around to checking out War for the Planet of the Apes. Ant-Man and the Wasp gets an official logo at CinemaCon, I'm looking forward to that sequel because I really liked Ant-Man. Robbie Rod is directing an Ugly Dolls movie. Yeah, based on a series of dolls that are apparently popular that are just ugly looking. Yeah, we need that. See, trolls. This is the hell that you have brought. Ugly Dolls, the movie, because of the success of Trolls, the Troll Doll movie. Thanks a lot, Trolls or Angry Birds. I don't even think that film did that well, but Trolls did really well though in the box office. I guess there's going to be another film from the director of The Raid called Apostle, which is a period revenge thriller. I don't know. I'm not really that interested in that. Uh, Alex Garland, who directed the extremely overrated Ex Machina, he's doing a film called Annihilation. I don't know. I'm really not interested in a film from him. It seems like he's another director like Gareth Edwards, who knows how to put together some really impressive shots, but does not know how to direct actors or make them show genuine emotions or any kind of charisma. But, it's probably intentional, because I've noticed that with a lot of films nowadays, these directors are intentionally trying to be the next M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong or something, and having their characters act with just absolute monotone tones of voices and not showing any emotion except for the bare minimum. And I just find that weird, and I don't really like that. I don't. Mission Impossible 6 is going to start shooting soon. It's going to be released next year in the summer. I loved the last one, Rogue Nation, so I'm definitely looking forward to that. There's going to be potentially a Venom spinoff. Sony's eyeing a Venom spinoff. Adi Shankar, who was one of the producers of Dread, who also was behind that Venom short that was on YouTube, and the Mighty Morphin Gritty Power Rangers short that he did. He is one of the directors that they're eyeing potentially for it. I don't know if I'd want him to do it. I don't know who I'd want to do it. Scott Derrickson would be an interesting choice because he knows how to direct horror. And he knows how to direct actors really well, as evidenced in films like Delivers from Evil. But I don't really know. Maybe Adi Shankar could do it. I don't know. With Venom, here's my thing. Sony, I think they're going out the wrong way. They want to use it as a spin-off to set up a new franchise, a new universe. And I'm like, just make a standalone Venom film and then go from there. Don't start out trying to world build from the first movie. Why does everything have to be a cinematic universe now? You don't have to do that. Just do a standalone Venom film that's a revenge movie, or that's like a Venom Lethal Protector, where Eddie Brock he's already got the symbiote. You have a little bit of origin briefly, and then he's already has the symbiote, and he's kicking ass and fighting other people with symbiotes and so on. You could do something like that. Or you can just make it a little bit more down and dirty and more of like just a vigilante film where Venom is just going around getting, ridding the streets of crime, and there's like a villain or something he has to face, maybe Carnage or something. Honestly, if they are going to do this, you definitely got to do it R-rated. You can't be doing a Venom film with PG-13, and you definitely have to get the design of Venom down right. I mean, 100% correct. I mean, straight out of the comics, not the Ultimate Comics, the classic Venom look. Because if they try to do some bullshit like they did with Spider-Man 3, that's not going to go over well. So Sony, they really are in essence walking on eggshells here with this Venom spinoff anyway. But there is potential here if they do it right. If they make it R-rated, they get a young director who's passionate about the character, who knows who Venom is and how to do the character justice. They give him the keys and just let him make the movie that he wants to make and stay the fuck out of his way. Then maybe we might have a potentially great Venom film. But I just don't trust Sony right now. So it's just one of those things that I want to be excited for a Venom spinoff. but I just can't be right now. Their track record is too bad. The movie Valerian, the new film by Luc Besson, I don't know. I mean, visually it looks fine, but I don't know. The cast just kind of doesn't really do it for me. Power Rangers. In case you're wondering, I didn't really ever say outright that I was going to see Power Rangers, the new Power Rangers, in the theater. That was on my mind because I'm doing Power Rangers stuff around the same time that this film was released in theaters. It's just, I'm not really super passionate or really that gung-ho about going to the theater and spending my last free ticket on Power Rangers. I mean, Turbo was a turbo piece. It was a turbo turd. The first movie's a guilty pleasure of mine, but I'm not going to call it a great film. The original series, I watched a few episodes on Netflix, and I got to be honest, it wasn't amazing. I could watch it as like a guilty pleasure, as a time waster, just for the Super Sentai edited footage and stuff like that. I mean, come on, it's robots versus monsters. I mean, that's always a fun thing to watch. But the stuff where they're teenagers at Angel Grove High is really hard to watch. It makes Saved by the Bell look like a masterpiece in comparison. It's pretty fucking bad. So I mean, yes, there's a lot of room for improvement when it comes to Power Rangers for the new one. But everything I've heard about it just makes me extremely leery of it. There's a bull cum joke in it. There's blatant Krispy Kreme donut advertising. There's a really long period of time where not much happens except for character development. And I've heard things where there isn't a lot of action. It doesn't really happen until the last 30 minutes of the movie, when the movie's over 2 hours, which I think is way too long to begin with for a Power Rangers film. And I've heard things from some people that say that the first hour and a half is all character buildup. It's all character buildup and stuff, maybe with Rita and a few other things, but and finding their suits and finding Zordon. But for the most part, it's character development, and they don't morph or fight until the last 30 minutes of the movie. And if that is the case, I'm not looking forward to that shit. I'm not looking forward to sitting in the theater for an hour and a half dealing with character development with characters that's just going on way too long, that seems like it's straight out of a teen soap opera in the CW, with politically correct Power Rangers, with an autistic Billy and a lesbian Trina. And that might not be your name. It might be something else. But regardless, it's unnecessary. I don't really need to see all of his time devoted to showing Zach having abusive parents, or having parents that are giving him problems or whatever, and family issues. I don't go to a Power Rangers film to see drama. I don't do that. If I'm going to go to a Power Rangers movie, I want to see martial arts action. I want to see the Power Rangers morph. I don't want to wait an hour and a half for them to do so. I want them to get in their Zords, team up, kick some ass, turn into a Megazord, and fuck some giant monster up. That's what I want to see out of a Power Rangers film. I don't want to see more of the teenagers out of their suits and not morphing and showing their backstory and taking way too long to do it. If you want to show their backstory, that's fine. You don't need to do it in a whole hour or hour and a half of the film. So I don't know. That just worries me. The trailers didn't grab me at all. And someday down the road, I'll check it out. But I just don't know if I want to wait. I don't want to sit in the theater and watch that. I'd rather go see Ghost in the Shell. I actually genuinely really want to see that movie. So I'd rather use my last free ticket that I have to go see that instead of wasting on Power Rangers, a film that honestly, from what I've heard, does not sound like much. So I'll give it a look someday, and you will see a review of it. But another reason why I don't want to review it just yet is because I've heard through the grapevine that Lionsgate is being a bunch of assholes about their property lately, and is like flagging and striking and removing videos with Power Rangers or other stuff or their films in it. So I don't want to get caught in their path, so to speak, and deal with that bullshit either. So that's another reason why I think I'll probably try to, wait a little bit before I do a Power Rangers review. Because I don't want to get a copyright strike from Lionsgate for being a bunch of assholes because I used a poster thumbnail and they're getting all butthurt because I put Power Rangers in the title of my video on YouTube. I don't really want to deal with that. And speaking of Power Rangers, doesn't help either where you have members of the cast of this new film clamoring for a female Tommy. Why? I'm just going to ask this. Why? We don't need a female Tommy. If you want another female Ranger, that's fine. Create your own character. The Green Ranger does not need to be a female Tommy. That is not necessary. Don't do that. Ignore that cast member. I know Jason David Frank said Tommy's gender is Saban's call. Saban better might make the right fucking call here because they do that. They gender flip Tommy. I'm pretty sure a lot of fans are going to be pissed, and that's not going to bode well for the sequel or the 6 other Power Rangers movies that they're considering making already. Pacific Rim 2, I don't give a shit about Pacific Rim Job 2. I don't care. I really don't. Unless they make it just more robot fighting and less generic cliche Top Gun ripoffs and mix of robot jocks, then maybe I'd care more. But more robot fighting. That's what I thought I was going to get with the movie, but there isn't that much. There's a lot of other shit that just sucks. Stephen King's It. Oh, you mean Stephen King's shit? Or the same shit? Because that's what it is. It's the same old shit. That trailer, wow, that was really disappointing. That was one that I was like, wow, really? This is the trailer that a lot of horror fans and other people on the message boards and the comments are all considering a crowning achievement and an amazing trailer and a scary film and looks like a great remake. An It trailer which has a scene where Georgie is following his boat and then smacks head on into a fucking sign, which is completely unnecessary and looks like something out of a spoof of It. And other scenes where you see the clown, which I hate this new look for Pennywise. I hate it. I fucking hate it. He looks like a fucking porcelain doll. And it completely misses the point of Pennywise, the dancing clown. What made Pennywise so scary was that he looked like a regular birthday clown at first. An innocent, regular clown, like Bozo or something. Which is, I'm pretty sure Stephen King was probably inspired by the real-life horror story of John Wayne Gacy for his film It, or his book It, not his film It, my bad. But anyway, you have this new It who has clothes that look like straight out of the 19th century. He's got a look and a design that just looks scary right from the get-go, so there's no subtlety about it. And it seems like this is one of those movies that is just copying the same shitty fucking formula I am so sick and tired of seeing with a lot of horror films lately, where, oh, it's a horror movie, so we have to be really, really, really scary. And so what they do is they try way too fucking hard to be scary and load the film up with tons of jump scares because they seem to think that equals scary. And see, that's the problem with a lot of horror films lately, is they just think that jump scares equal scary. And that's not what scary is. That's a fucking jump scare. That's me being surprised or shocked. If you are at a surprise party and okay, you go to a surprise party. You're not at it yet. You go to a surprise party, you open the door, your friends and family go, surprise! And you're surprised. You're like, whoa, ah! You're not scared, are you? Are you scared? No. That's why I'm sick and tired of these fucking jump scares in horror films and then the term jump scare. Because I'm not scared. There's not been a single jump scare in my entire life that I've ever seen that has ever kept me up at night. Never. There's been some clever ones, like in The Conjuring recently, but it doesn't keep me up at night. It doesn't scare me. It doesn't fill me with a sense of dread. It just annoys the hell out of me. And this trailer was full of them. And so much to the point it was just laughable. The shot you see of Pennywise near the end of the trailer where he's running at the camera made me laugh my ass off. I wasn't scared at this. I wasn't afraid of that fucking thing. And then you have the image of Pennywise, which honestly says 1,000 words about ShIT. So not calling it's ShIT. They have this image that's on like a slide projector, and it pauses, and it's a blink and you miss it thing in the trailer. But if you freeze frame it, you get to see you see Pennywise and Skarsgård. I don't know what he was thinking here, because he has this look on his face that is the complete opposite of scary or intimidating. He's like got his jaw over like this, and he's like, I'm just like, I mean, what the fuck is that? Pennywise, the retarded clown? Run away! And also, I just don't like. It seems like this film is just an excuse for cheap jump scares. It's that it just completely misses the point of what the book is about, what it is about. I mean, it's not scary to me to see an already scary clown become even scarier. To me, it's more scary to have a clown that's innocent looking who becomes scary, like Tim Curry, who's innocent looking. You could see a kid being tricked by this clown and mistaking him for somebody who's a friend. Here, you see this clown in the sewer, you're going to run the fuck away. You're not going to, put your hand out there or take a balloon or any of that shit. And then, I mean, it reminded me of the Nightmare on Elm Street remake and also something like Evil Dead. Like the Evil Dead remake. Especially in the scene where you see a girl, she looks over the sink and all this black shit pours into her face. And in the miniseries, it was handled in a way that wasn't so over the top that it was just dumb or stupid. And that's what it seems like here. It's just bigger is better. No, it isn't. Bigger is not always better. Stop following that motto when it comes to modern day updates of old stories. For fuck's sake. It's like an Evil Dead when you had the whole scene where the girl is like cutting her tongue open with a fucking box cutter or barfing blood. It's just like, jeez. I mean, that's just too much. That's not better. That's more does not equal better. Definitely not in this case. And then all the kids are speaking like they had their souls sucked out of their bodies because, once again, the director has to take a page from M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong. Why is this a trend? Why are people borrowing from this guy? Borrowing from M. Night? And I saw Split. And if you want my short opinion on it, it sucked. Okay, it was overrated as hell. The only good thing about it was James McAvoy. M. Night Shyamalan is not back. He's still the same Shyamalama Ding Dong he always was. Talk about Split later. I don't really, because the more I talk about that movie, the more I get a splitting headache. Because people are all like, this is great, this is the best movie ever. And I'm just like, one of the best horror films of all time. And I'm just like, hey, if you think that way, cool. I just don't get it. I don't understand. And that's nothing, I'm not trying to offend you or anything. I just don't understand it. I don't understand the line of thinking, and that's fine. I'm not supposed to. You have your way of thinking about it, and I have my way of thinking about it, and I think Split is a piece of shit. I really do. I think people overrate James McAvoy's performance and think that, oh, because that's great, then the movie is great. And to me personally, that's not enough because you have characters who are unlikable, who there's no build up, no character whatsoever to these characters except maybe the lead girl. And it doesn't even get the most out of it. It's idea. It says he has multiple different personalities, like over 20 something personalities. We don't even see half of them. Or we barely even see half of them in the entire movie. So it seemed like a missed opportunity, and then it ends with some kind of Easter egg teaser for Unbreakable 2, and I'm just like, I just want to see Unbreakable 2. Why wasn't I just watching that? Unbreakable 2. Instead of the story of these three annoying, unlikable girls who I don't give a fuck about, who get kidnapped by this crazy guy with split personality, and then he torments them for an hour, or it feels like 3 hours. All right. Get off that topic. Get off that subject. Back to it. Admittedly, the film does look like it's well shot. I will give it that. The cast doesn't look like they're terrible. It just looks like they're asked to be completely monotone and have no personality and just no charisma because they just don't want to take any chances with their performances. Or they want to take a page from M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong. Also, I don't mind the whole 80s aspect because I think they're trying to go for maybe sort of a Stranger Things vibe. I don't mind that. I just don't see the fun and the nostalgia that the first half of it needs to have in order for it to really work. Because if you have bland, boring kids and you have a bland, boring, extremely not really over the top, but Pennywise who has no subtlety and isn't scary because he's trying too hard to be scary, then you got a problem. I mean, one of the last shots of the film is where Georgie, it has created an apparition of Georgie, and so the kids are there and they see his brother's there, sees Georgie, and Georgie's all like, "They all float down here. They all float down here. They all float down here. They all float down here." You're just like, holy shit, damn, Buck. I mean, what do you think I was, like, all the way back in the back row? Did this kid take acting lessons from General Zod from Man of Steel? What the hell is this shit? That's what I'm saying. And then, of course, after he does that, you see the just generic cliched bullshit jump scare with the clown, with Pennywise, who peeks up out of the water and then goes, just like, fucking. And then they have a shot that's straight out of Sinister. Because they showed this scene with this slide projector, and I'm like, that reminds me of Sinister, and I hated that movie. That movie was a piece. That movie sucked. That was shit too, just like this is shit. What is it, Sinister 3? No, thank you. I don't want to see Sinister 3. So really, yeah, this trailer. Wow, this is the new horror. This is the new exciting horror film. Fuck me, this genre is fucked. So that's my mini rant, so to speak, on ShIT. Jumanji, the rebootable, apparently is getting a new name. I don't care what the fuck it is, but what did kind of bug me is the fact that it's no longer a board game, it's a video game. Whatever. So it's like Stay Alive. I mean, why call it Jumanji then? Why don't you just come up with your own franchise and call it something else if you're going to make it a video game? Like, what the hell is the point of calling it Jumanji if it's not a board game? I don't understand. You have this new Edgar Wright film called Baby Driver. It's got a great supporting cast. I don't mind the idea, although it does remind me of Drive. I know some people are like, it's not like Drive. It's a lot like Drive. Honestly, it is. Doesn't mean it's exactly the same as Drive, but it is a lot like Drive. And honestly, I'd rather watch Drive than Baby Driver. I mean, Baby Driver I might see later, when it comes out on home video or rental, but I'm not really psyched for it. And the main reason why is because Taron Egerton, I think that's who it is, the lead, He's got all the fucking charisma and personality of a potato. They have this lead guy who is a complete piece of white paper. He's just plain white paper. And I'm just like, of all the people you could have cast for this role, you got this guy? He doesn't even look like he can carry his own fucking bowling ball to the bowling alley, let alone carry a film. So, he can barely even carry his own weight because he's paper thin. So that worries me because the trailers, the shots they showed of him, man, that did not work for me. I mean, he just looked completely bland. And I'm like, why isn't Jamie Foxx the lead instead of this guy? What, did they cast him only because he looks like a baby? Is that why? He's got a baby face. Cast him. Baby Driver. I don't get it. Really don't. Alright, so I'm checking out some more stuff here. I don't really care about The Mummy. Ghost in the Shell, like I said, I'm curious about it. I want to see it. I'm going to see it probably sometime this weekend. I'm also going to review the anime Ghost in the Shell and Ghost in the Shell 2 Innocence. Maybe Akira if I have time. If not, I'll save that for later, along with some other anime films like Appleseed and Appleseed 2. But yeah, it'll be a first for me. Reviews of anime. I haven't really ever reviewed an anime on this channel, so that'll be interesting. And April is reserved, at least the first half of it is reserved for Kong. It's the month of Kong. I know I'm a bit late in the game, and I did see Kong Skull Island, and I loved it. I thought it was a really, really fun movie, and it's honestly my favorite Kong film. And I just wanted to wait a little bit, because that way I can review all of the Kong movies that I can get my hands on, and give you guys all the Kong you can handle. Instead of and also take my time with it, so I'm not too rushed with it. So that's the plan for April. I just thought I'd just throw that out there because why not? And because it's Ghost in the Shell, so that you guys aren't surprised when oh, Ghost in the Shell. All right. Now, I also might review the Beauty and the Beast movies, sometime soon. A friend of mine sent me Beauty and the Beast. It was a really great gift. So I would like to review it because he sent it to me. And check out the new Beauty and the Beast. Although that's a trend I don't really like. The trend of Disney's new reboot / remakes of their animated films and live action. It seems lazy to me and completely uninspired. But look, it's made a lot of money, so it doesn't matter. The Disney's won in that regard. They did it for money and it worked. So expect to see more of these live action animated movies. Like they're going to do like a live action Lion King. How? There are no human characters in that movie unless you're talking about the play on Broadway. So, yeah, I guess I can talk about, there's a couple more things I want to talk about, and then I'll probably end this video. It's already pretty long enough as it is. Hope you guys are enjoying it, though. Usually these talking cinemas are pretty long anyway. I would probably, I want to give my brief thoughts on Justice League. Not impressed. I am sick and tired of Zack Snyder's color scheme in his movies. He just saps all the color out of all these films. It looks bland. It looks muddy. It looks awful. No, I was not impressed with the supposedly jizz-worthy shot of Ben Affleck on a fucking cheesy-looking Grim Reaper skull that most of the internet was jizzing themselves over. Oh my God, Batman on a gargoyle! Oh, it's not on a gargoyle. First off, he's on a Grim Reaper. And there's no subtlety whatsoever with this shot. In fact, it's just, it was in the comic. I don't really care if it was in the comic or not. Sometimes things don't translate well into live action. This is one of those things for me. It just looks cheesy to me, or corny, or just looks really just forced. Like, oh, look how badass Batman is. He's standing on top of the Grim Reaper. It's just, because he's the Reaper of justice. I'm just like, really, Zach? The stupid line of dialogue in the trailer where Flash is asking Batman, he's like, what's your superpower? And Batman's like, I'm rich. You're just like, oh yeah, I'm rich, bitch. Rick James, bitch. It's just like, what? Why are you reminding me of Chappelle's Show? That's your attempt at humor? Batman going, I'm rich. In fact, that's a terrible interpretation of Bruce Wayne or Batman. This is how you do it better. What's your superpower? I'm Batman. I mean, that'd be fine. I'd be fine with that. Batman's superpower is not that he's rich. If he has a superpower, it's that he's super intelligent and he's one of the world's greatest detectives, and he's very smart. That's that's essentially his superpower. But God forbid we show that in any of these Batman movies lately, because detective? Oh, what? He's a detective? Oh, that's for Sherlock Holmes. Batman is just here to punch people. I'm sorry, I just had to do that because he's not represented enough in the films as the detective that he is. It's honestly kind of frustrating as a Batman fan. And in these Justice League trailers, Bruce comes across to me as a low-rent Tony Stark. He's forming the Avengers. But not the Avengers, the Justice League. We can't have Superman in the first ever Justice League movie because DC can't be fucking patient enough to wait to, I don't know, bring back Superman in some other way. Or, no, they fucked up. They just fucked up. I mean, they killed him off, and then now they have to deal with this shit where you have a Justice League film where Superman, one of the founding members from the way, 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 way beginning of the fucking Justice League, is not in the Justice League film. And neither is Green Lantern, because for some reason DC's afraid to have him in the film, but they'll have Cyborg, who looks like shit in these trailers. Yeah, it's CGI, and they're not finished rendering yet. I doubt even if they do finish rendering, and they probably will, but it won't make it look that much better. It really won't. Maybe a little bit better, but it's still going to look like shit because the design itself looks like shit to me. Yes, I know Apocalypse, and there's these flying things. They're stuff that Darkseid and other people use for soldiers and so on. I know what those things are. They were in Batman vs. Superman. It doesn't change the fact that they do look a lot like Ultron. They do. They look like Ultron. I mean, it's just kind of what they look like. The Gal Gadot, honestly, to me personally, has all the charisma of a department store mannequin. Yeah, a mannequin over at fucking JCPenney or Macy's has the same amount of charisma and personality as Gal Gadot. I don't like her as Wonder Woman. I think she's terribly miscast. She can't act, so I'm not looking forward to her in this film. And I'm not really the biggest fan of Wonder Woman to begin with. Aquaman? Oh, Roman Reigns of the Sea? I mean, I believe that. I mean, really? With the sea has the same boring personality and mannerisms as Roman fucking Reigns. Yeah, I want to see Roman Reigns in a superhero film. Yeah, Roman Reigns is a part of the Justice League. That shit out of here, surfer bro fucking mentality. And I see a lot of people supporting him, mainly a lot of females. And I'm not saying I'm trying to be sexist here, but I've noticed this on message boards where a lot of these women are just fawning over Jason Momoa because he's so hot, and it doesn't matter that he's acting like a fucking dumbass and is a surfer bro who's annoying as hell. And it's fucking Aquaman. It don't matter. That doesn't matter to them because he's hot. Oh my god, he's so dreamy. It just so the movie might be a hit just because these girls are gonna go see the movie, sneak in some vibrators, and fucking flip the bean to Jason Mamma Mia. The Flash, played by Ezra Miller, does nothing for me because, to be honest, he looks like Justin Long, and it seems like he's doing a half-assed wannabe Peter Parker Spider-Man impression. I understand Wally West, who he's playing, is a lot like Spidey, but I never really felt that Wally's Flash in the Justice League cartoon was Spider-Man, was Peter Parker. This seems a bit too on the nose for me personally. Also, Batman is a fucking idiot in this trailer who just gives away his secret identity just in no time by throwing a fucking batarang at Ezra Miller's at Wally, and he catches it, and then he's like, "Oh, you're Batman." Yeah, who do you think? Yeah, huh. Does Bruce do this all the time with house guests? Christ. The action looks bland and boring, and nothing to it. It just I don't even like Ben Affleck's Batman, especially the look of him in this Justice League film. He's got this shitty looking silver bat on his chest that's just garish and an eyesore. He's wearing goggles like he's fucking Owl Man or Night Man. Yeah, it's like Night Owl, like he's fucking Night Owl from Watchmen, which he might as well essentially be, because that's essentially how Zack Snyder is portraying Batman in these films. And I'm not looking forward to it. I'm not. I'm not looking forward to Justice League. The only way I'll see it is if someone takes me to see it and I don't pay a cent to see it. I ain't giving that movie a fucking penny. I'm done with DC. Dixon Cox. Done with them. Enough is enough. The last thing I want to end with, speaking of things that I'm done with, I am fucking through with these fucking reboots and remakes and all this bullshit. Robbie Rod being announced as a director for the Escape from New York reboot or remake. Why? Have you not learned your lesson? You can't remake a Carpenter film. Carpenter has a specific style and flair that's uniquely his own, and he is a legend in his realm, in his genre. You're not going to come remotely fucking close to being as good as Carpenter or doing a film that is going to be as good as Escape from New York. Why not just make Escape from Earth or a third film with Carpenter in tow as a producer or some other director, and have Kurt Russell come back as Snake Plissken? Snake Plissken is not a role where Kurt has to be jacked and buffed up and has to be able to do all these stunts. You don't have to do it that way. You can have a great send-off to the Escape from New York franchise, let the fans see Snake one last time, and you can go that route. A down and dirty, exploitation style Escape from New York sequel. Instead of a fucking reboot with people's ideas like Emily Blunt as Snake Plissken. Why? I like Emily Blunt, but I don't need a female Snake Plissken. No offense to the women out there, but I don't need a female Snake Plissken. The reason why I like Emily Blunt, think she's a badass, and I want to see her more in films, is because of her performance in Edge of Tomorrow, where she was a full metal bitch. She was her own character. She wasn't trying to be somebody else. I'm sick and tired of this lazy bullshit from Hollywood going around and taking all these old franchises, digging them up out of the grave, and Weekend at Bernie'sing them. Stop Weekend at Bernie'sing shit and just fucking come up with your own franchises. Take some chances. How do you think these 80s films that you're remaking became hits? Because the studios took chances on them. You're not going to have the same success by just trying to do the same thing again in 2017. No, I'm not looking forward to Flatliners, the reboot quill, which is another fucking trend I'm sick of, that I want to shove my boot up its fucking ass. I'm sick and tired of these reboot quills that became popular because of films like Star Wars The Force Awakens and Jurassic World. No, I don't want to see a Flatliners reboot quill called Flatliners that has Kiefer Sutherland in a cameo role and is essentially just a fucking remake. I heard the Friday the 13th reboot sequel that was canned was going to be like that. It was a prequel, so we'd have a teenage Jason that introduces bother and pull shit out of their ass. And I'm actually glad that movie didn't happen now, if that's the case. I don't want to see a Halloween film, another Halloween sequel. I know John Carpenter might be involved, but the last film he did was The Ward, and I love John, but that was a piece of shit. So, his most recent film he did is not really a classic. And just because he's producing doesn't mean anything, especially when you have Danny McBride and some of the people who are involved with comedies like, Pineapple Express or Observe and Report or things like that I enjoy, but I don't really see as the type of person to helm your Halloween sequel. But honestly, I don't want to see a Halloween sequel. There's been enough Halloween sequels. Michael Myers has been done to death. Rob Zombie fucked him up the ass. I don't need to see any more Halloween films. I don't want to see Michael Myers anymore. I really don't. Give me a new slasher icon. And I like Halloween, and I like Michael Myers, but I'm just done. I'm at to that point where I'm done. I don't want to see Pinhead anymore. I don't want to see Freddy. I don't want to see any of these old franchises be brought back to life. I don't want to see another Saw film. I don't want to see Jigsaw returns for the 50th fucking time. I don't. I'm really honestly sick of it. I'm done. I'm completely fucking finished. The fucking reboot of this was the last fucking straw, and I'm not giving these fucking lazy ass fucking reboot pulls and remakes and sequels any more fucking chances. I'm all out of chances. I've been burned too many times. I'm not gonna go back to that well full of acid again. I'm sorry. And speaking of that, we got added more films to the well. Weird Science, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels remake with a female cast. Fucking The Fly remade again. Just stop! Nobody wants this. There's nobody lining up out the fucking door for these reboots and these remakes. Just fucking stop it already. So that's just my final. Just had to let loose there. Anyway, that's it for Talking Cinema. I got nothing else to say. I've made my throat hoarse, yelling so much. So I gotta go get a drink. Thankfully, I don't drink alcohol, because if I did, I don't know. It's a situation of things probably make me pretty depressed. But I will say this. I'll end things on a high note. This year has been surprisingly good in terms of the films that I've been looking forward to and really wanting to see in the theater. So I really want to make that clear. So when you had John Wick Chapter 2, you had Logan, you had Kong Skull Island. They're all films that I really enjoyed. So I hope this trend continues, and that gives me hope for the future. It's just with specific genres like the horror genre, it's just the same shit over and fucking over and over again. Same shit. And I'm done. I mean, until I see a film that really gets a wide release that seems like it's doing something different. Get Out, I'm glad that was a hit. I need to check that out. Maybe that's a step forward in the right direction. But it doesn't matter, because there'll be a film like It Follows. It's a surprise hit with critics and audiences. And then you still get this fucking Saw Legacy bullshit, Annabelle 2, Ouija prequel, fucking another Fly remake, another Halloween film, all of this other stuff. You still get the same shit, no matter what. Because I guess Hollywood is just considered the horror genre to be an excuse for them to be as lazy as fucking possible to make money. And if these films keep making money, like fucking Ouija making over $100 fucking million, then maybe, maybe they don't see any reason to really put any kind of effort into it. So maybe some of the horror fans should, I don't know, not go see a film in the theater, the horror film in the theater. I think it looks like shit. Not just go and see it just because it's a horror film. I'm just saying. That's not the best strategy. But anyway, yeah, thanks for watching. And yes, I'm looking forward to Ghost in the Shell. So hopefully that'll be another good one that lives up to my expectations. I hope so. I definitely don't want to be disappointed. And so far I haven't been really. The films that I thought were going to be shit that I've seen from this year have been shit. So Hopefully the trend continues where the films I want to see that I hope are good, and the films that are shit, I think are gonna be shit or shit. You know, I would love for things to be predictable for once when it comes to the quality of the films that I see from in Hollywood. So anyway, thanks for watching, and as always, I will see you guys later. See ya.